You have been involved with Woolworths. You've had association with Marks and Spencer. You have seen businesses grow in South Africa. And you've seen businesses grow with families being involved. Share with us, as families, when you start setting up businesses, and you've seen 80 years, so maybe more than 2-3 generations of people, what does family member go through? How do actually people at the helm look at businesses? And how do they sustain it year after year after year? So give us the family view, the professional view, because you have been on both the sides of retail seen from the family's eyes.
Nagesh emailed us this question. So I've had a bit of time to think about it. And it's a very difficult question. So almost all businesses start as family businesses, and almost all businesses have a founder with a vision and a passion, and very often a son who will take that business on and build it much more professionally than his dad did. So his dad has the original rough dream, and he will take it on and really professionalize it. He might. And history says, and there's a wonderful expression in the north of England where the poor people would wear clogs instead of leather shoes. So that in the north they say, clogs to clogs in 3 generations, because the grandson spends the money. And he's actually normally very good at that. So the old man was good at founding the business, the son professionalized it, and the grandson spent it. And I think that's the challenge that faces so many family businesses, And at the end, the duty of the family, if it continues to hold a major investment in the business, is to find the succession of management that can compete in a commercially highly competitive, ever increasingly sophisticated world. And 9 times out of 10, that world is radically different from the founder's world and from the second generation's world. And it's not easy for families to continue to dominate businesses for 3, 4, 5 generations. It's doable, but you've got to set standards that are unbelievably high. I think it is important because one of the things that families can bring is a long-term sense of vision that us, and I would term myself more as a professional manager than as a family member. We never owned the business, but I'm the 3rd generation within Woolworths as an executive. Families can think very far into the future and can build businesses that have a sustainability, the kind of thing that I was talking about. The danger is that they get lulled into a confidence that what worked for the father or worked for the grandfather is going to work into the future. It will not work into the future. And the great families are the families that have the courage to say, fine, we do not have a member of our family capable of taking this business into the future. We will bring in professional management. And there's a point in time where that decision needs to be taken. And the families that don't take that decision will see their investments disappear. It's as simple as that.
That's wonderful. Kishore, you have probably done in 15 years what would take many people 2 generations or 3 generations. Yeah. How do you see this whole 15 years of journey as a promoter, as an entrepreneur, family member? I mean, you play multiple roles in a very short period.
I think maybe we are learning a little fast. The world has also, I would say, changed in a sense. Earlier, if you look at the whole evolution, it used to take 20 years for a change to happen. The locomotive, the aeroplane, the radio. But if you look at the new world now, in the last 20 years, the last couple of years, I would say, the change is happening 5 years. Now it's 3 years, wherein we are seeing some change which are much, much rapid. So I think we are building up business in a very dynamic world, as I might say. I don't know how true it is for the retail business. But in terms of we building the business, what we did, Big Bazaar is now 10 years, 11 years old. Our business on large format is around 15 years old. And we have seen 2 cycles of slowdown in a sense, some sort of, which we never imagined when we started in 1997 that India would see some slowdown in that sense. So I think we are learning to deal with cycles. That's a new thing which we are learning. But the journey always has been that whenever you take one step, I think you see the world a little differently, or you see the markets differently. So every step you take wants you to take a decision which was much different than what you were taking earlier. So it's a continuous process of learning while you are doing. And I think that's the phase I have gone through. And the current phase, I think with a lot of work behind us and a lot of knowledge, how can you convert that into an institutional knowledge, and how can you pass it on, and how can that be the memory of the organization? And some things won't change, the values won't change, some principles won't change. And how can that be transferred to the management team, and how they can take it forward is the next big challenge which you have to work on.
Kishore, last year I think you were also here, and Donnie was here from Ruston's, and between our group we've also had the fortune of dealing with Central family. There we have seen 50 members of the family, 100 members of the family being involved in the business. But they have done it over 2 generations and 3 generations, and the generations have grown. Here, within a span of 15 years, you have quite a few family members who are involved. You have been the visionary, you have been the person who is driving it. A lot of values and a lot of drive comes from you. But how do you really, in such a rapid growth, keep all the families bound to that vision? Because I think I do agree when you become you're the son and the grandson, out of respect for father or have a scene. But here, they're all equals. Okay, how do you really build that knitting together to take this vision and take it to the next level?
I think there are 2 parts of the business. One is the strategy relationship, and the superficial part of the business, which is not to do with the day-to-day operations of the business. I personally believe family has to play that role at the top, at the strategic level, at the relationship level, whether it is vendor relationship, property relationships. Operating role is an accountability role, and that has to be played by a professional. If a family member is capable, I think he should play that role. And that's the tough role one has to play, because the accountability has to be fixed. To fix accountability in families, when everybody is equal in a sense, is not an easy task. And so that's the design which we have built it in. And we believe that's a design which can work, but whether the next generation can come in and run this business, we have not designed for that. In fact, last time it was very interesting. I did ask Donnie the same question, and he actually appreciated his grandfather, and he says, yeah, we are 52 of us involved, but he and my mom are the only shareholders. So I mean, he has designed the firm in such a way that everybody works in a very, very professional way. Simon, when I